Hi, everyone. I am Shelly Dressel, and today I'm here to channel Peyandor. I first connected with him about a week or so ago. He is a part of the three-eye atlas that is coming in towards the Earth. And when I spoke with him, he just had information to share. So I have been thinking about it, and I've been communicating with him. And I know there's a lot out there right now. Some saying that the Atlas is actually unmanned. And then I had that sense of, no, we were on the Atlas. I could see around. And so I just had some questions about what's what when it comes to the Atlas, and if he had any more information that he wanted to share with us. I know last time was kind of a introduction and kind of some generalized information, but this time I had a few questions that I had put out there for him. Now, I will put a link down there that you can listen to the previous channel if you want to hear that, and that way you'll just get more information, that he has to share. All right, so thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time listening. Greetings. It is I, Peyandor. There are so many people on the Earth plane that have become fascinated with this atlas. We are all very, very excited because the more that we communicate with people on Earth, the stronger the bond is between those of us that are out in the universe and those of you that are upon the Earth. We represent all of the primary sections, if you want to call it, of your universe. We also represent some of the people that are coming in from other universes. Now, I know that Shelly has been reading about this and getting other information and had some questions to ask me. So in the course of my conversation with you today, I will answer these questions. But the first thing that I wanted to share is this is a time of celebration. They have created one of the last peace agreements that needed to be made in order for peace to be present on the Earth plane. Now then, in order for that, what do you call them, treaty or whatever it is to be signed, that agreement to be signed, or that ability to move forward in that, they needed to take out that which was the head of those that you call the cabal. They had to remove those that were still there trying to keep the nefarious deeds going and keep the nefarious ones activated. And that was done several weeks ago. And then there was the murder of that one known as Charlie Kirk, and then this peace deal. There is an alignment between all of that, and there is an alignment between the assassination and using leverage and having this peace deal come out. I'm only saying that because I know so many of you are still questioning it. Is it going to be lasting? Is it going to work? What was behind it? And when you are negotiating, when you are moving from a place of chaos into a place of peace, it is very, very challenging. You have multiple generations that have been in a place of chaos. You might have had times in which there was peace, love, harmony. There might have been different sections of your planet that have always had that kind of peace and harmony. But there has been an underlying energy that was what kept the vibration low, and it's what kept the vibration from being what it needed to be in order to move to the next level of ascension. And that I can say with all honesty, with all respect, that has now been accomplished. And so you are going to see a dramatic increase in the vibration of your planet. Some of you may already notice. I believe that when Shelly spoke a week ago, she said at that time, can you tell the difference? And indeed, there is a noticeable difference for those of you that take a moment to stop and say, is the energy lighter? Is the energy more transparent? Is the energy filled with more consciousness than what it was before? And chances are the answer to that is going to be yes. Okay, so here we are. We have this big atlas coming in. We have so many people that are talking about it. More and more are talking about it. And I know that there were these questions that Shelly asked. So I'm just going to jump in and answer those. And then if there's more that comes up or if I need to expand as we're in it. So one of the first is the AI Atlas, the 3I Atlas manned or unmanned? And the answer to that is, like, if you refer back to the last time that we talked, I spoke about how the Atlas itself is a massive, massive mothership. This is something that moves through time, space, reality, sending out waves and waves of consciousness, not only to create change, but to bring to an end what needs to be brought to an end, and then to initiate what is coming about for the future. So I say this to mean that this is something that has been around for a very, very long time. And actually, going into one of her other questions, is this referred to in Sumeria? Did they have knowledge of the Atlas going past in Sumeria? The Atlas has gone past the Earth plane at least 3 different times. This is the 3rd time, and there was perhaps a 4th time that goes back into the very beginning of having humanity upon the Earth. So it was like it sent out a vibration or a frequency that stabilized the planet when it was totally uninhabited in order to have habitation. That was probably number 1. There was then a time prior to Lemuria. That was number 2. And then this time of the Sumerian time. That was number 3, and this is number 4. So the Atlas coming past the Earth plane is not something new. The Atlas that came then and the Atlas that you have now is essentially the same. There are different ways in which it's been upgraded. There are different ways in which certain things that they needed at one period are no longer needed. Then you just let that part go from the Atlas. So the Atlas itself is considered a mothership. It is very, 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 very large. There are always AI energies that are on it that keep it going, that keep it functioning. And there are many energies that are a part of it that are pure conscious aspects. So these pure conscious forms are always on the Atlas, and they are always available to work with people. Some of them will manifest a physical form if needed, and this is somewhat what I represent. Now then, there are many that are a part of the Atlas that also go out on these ships, and these ships are the ones that are paving the way. They're looking at what else might be going on, because you can think of the Atlas as one big massive antenna that is moving through time, and an antenna sends out signals, but it also receives energy back or receives signals back. So depending on the information that is received, there are multiple different ships that go in and out of the Atlas. And when these ships go into the Atlas, then you have physical beings that are on the ship. And they may be there for long periods of time. They may be there for short periods of time. It depends on whatever is needed in any given situation. So when people talk about, is the Atlas manned or unmanned? The answer is, it is always manned. The question is it always manned by physical beings, or is it always manned by consciousness? And those may have physical, may have non-physical. And the answer is, it is always manned by forms of consciousness. And there is a certain number that are the anchors. These are a part of the Atlas that have been there. You remember how we talked about the 12 strands that made up the DNA, and that they're all a part of this Atlas? They are all on the Atlas at this time, but not all of these are on the Atlas at all times. When the Atlas came by, depending on what was going on your planet, depending on what was going on in your universe, there were different beings that manifested on the Atlas. And so the ones that are here right now are the foundation of those 12 species that have created your DNA, that has created your humanity. And then there are multiple others that are also here. Some of these others are here to learn what it's like to move from one type of consciousness into another. And again, as I said the last time, it is all of the planets that are within your galaxy that are moving through this, some in a very dramatic way, such as what you guys are doing, some in a much more subtle way, because they're already further along in that process. When you hear about the atlas going closer to the sun, indeed it does. Indeed, that is one of the ways in which it receives energy. So the question that is coming up is, who's navigating the atlas? Who decides where it's going? And that programming is done by the unconscious forms that are, by the non-physical conscious forms that are on the atlas at all times. They have their own ship's captain, if you want to call them that. Ashtar is very much interacting with this, and Ashtar sometimes will be up there and will be discussing things with those that are the captains of this ship. And these are frequently the times when those may take a physical form, and in order to be able to communicate and have interactions that are going to be without any form of misunderstanding. Okay, now the next thing that we wanted to talk about is what happened between the time in Samaria and the time right now, which was the most recent time. Where has the atlas been? Well, there are places where the atlas itself goes into a place of stasis. It is always manned. There are always energies that are there working on it, maintaining it, but it may go into a place of stasis. And then that's, who can say what that time is, because it's infinite. There's only the now moment. And so maybe it's been there for thousands of years. Maybe it would be the equivalent of a day. There is no way of really measuring that, nor is there any need to. What is important to know is that the atlas gets activated by several different things. Number one, the consciousness of a universe, the consciousness of a galaxy, the consciousness of a certain group of people that are moving through transition. The other thing that it is activated by are the alignment of the planets in a solar system. When those planets align in a certain way, it sends out a vibration that could be like a clarion call, and that is activating the atlas to, okay, we're ready to have a flyby. There is also those that are on the atlas that are reading this, that are understanding this. And so what's going on here is that it cannot be one or another of these things that happen. It must be a multitude of different things that all line up at the same time in the same place, and that activates the atlas, and then it comes through doing what it does. So you think then, okay, what's it going to do? What did it do back in the ancient days? Well, in the ancient days, the earth was very, very aware of the star beings. There was a very much of a co-creative relationship. And so them coming through, they knew that the atlas was coming. They knew that the atlas was creating an upgrade. And that's what advanced civilization, so that they could go to the next level of their consciousness. And at that point, they began teleporting to various parts of the planet, and they began using telepathy much more often. Their crops changed and went to a higher grade of crops that grew more easily. And then they also had downloads of what was going to be the foundation for your current civilization. So these were some of these experiences that took place with the atlas the last time it came by. The atlas also goes through other universes. So it's very, very specific. It's very special. And again, if you had not done the work that you needed to do to raise the consciousness of this planet in such a way where it's humanity anchoring it, where it's humanity doing the work, we would not have been able to come through. None of us can impose our will on anybody else. We can only be here to work with you, to help you, and to be a part of your ascension. But again, your ascension. Okay, so then what is another thing? Okay, there have been multiple people that have been writing about the fact that the AI atlases, or the 3i atlases, is manned with Draco reptilians. There are no Draco reptilians on this ship. There have been other ships that were filled with the Draco, and they too serve a specific purpose when it comes to the Earth plane, but their purpose is done. They are no longer associated with the Earth plane. They have moved on to a different universe. They are not here to wreak havoc in the way that they did before. So I can hear someone saying, well, aren't there some of them that are here for peace? Aren't they, they're the good guys and the bad guys, just as everything else is? The Draco reptilians are here, are a species that are there to break up, meaning if there is something that is not solidified, if there's something that is not anchored stably into a consciousness or society, then they come in and they break things up. They also are about control and manipulation. So they are showing these people, this is what control and manipulation is like. Now, that being said, does that mean they didn't enjoy it? Of course they did. They would not be so good at it. But they have now been removed from this galaxy specifically and from this universe completely. They did not want to go. They thought that they could still go on and continue doing what they were doing. There were not wars, but it was a challenging time to get rid of them. We'll just say that. And so for anyone that may say, oh, the 3i Atlas is associated with the Draco reptilians, no. That is not true in any way, shape, or form. And I believe those that say that are because they don't see the higher consciousness. They only see what they have been entrained with. They only see the old energy, and they think this old energy is what is continuing to happen on the Earth plane. So no, just a hard no on that one. Why are you going past Venus? Why are you going past Mars? Someone had talked about a Merkaba, and that perhaps the Atlas represents a Merkaba or Merkaba, however you say that, which is the balance of masculine and feminine. That is a great example of how you can look at what the Atlas represents. Again, it is a way of taking what we're doing and applying it into something that people understand on the Earth plane. So is it all of one, all of another? No, it's always bits and pieces of everything that come together. So each of you have your Merkaba around you. Some call it the light body. Some call it there's multiple different words that you use for the same thing. But what this individual was speaking about and what I'm picking up on is that the AI Atlas represents a balanced energy. It's the balance of masculine and feminine. It's the balance of control, manipulation. It's the balance of goodwill. It's just everything that you are seeking to have as you are living your life. It's about finding out how to do that in balance. And so this is why your planet has been very, very unbalanced for a long, long time. So Gaia herself is also working at purging and cleansing. When you look at the tsunamis, when you look at the earthquakes, when you look at the different things that are happening, not only are they some of the species that are aligned with us on the Atlas, but it is also Gaia herself creating these changes. It's like she's shrugging her shoulders. She's making an adjustment so that she can let go of old and trained energy and step into the balanced energy that is the primary focus for moving forward. Okay, so are we passing Mars? Indeed. Are you passing Venus, Sirius, Lyra? There's so many planets that you have in this part of your galaxy, and everything is working in conjunction. So some of them may have the perception of the Atlas as being very close to them. Some may have the perception that it is far away. There will come a time when people will see actual images of what the Atlas looks like, but it is not going to stop. It is always in motion, and it may circle a time or two, and it may move through in a particular pattern a time or two, but it is never going to stop because it does not stop. When people look at it through your telescopes and the other devices that you have, all you see is that brilliant white light. And people say, oh, that's why they call it a comet. Perhaps that's a very good reason for that. But this atlas is vibrating at such a high light frequency that the perception as people look at it is that of a white light. So be aware that as you see it, like if you see it in the night sky going by, then that is the light and the energy that it is emanating. So then the next question comes, well, what actually is it going to do to humanity? You yourselves have been working at breaking down the old paradigms. And as those old paradigms have broken down, it's allowed the consciousness, some of it is filtering down from the universe, some of it is coming up from within each one of you, but it is allowing this higher vibrational frequency to become a part of the consciousness of the planet. Now, this is the consciousness that is that non-physical. It's the consciousness of humanity, the consciousness of the animals, the consciousness of the earth. It's every aspect of consciousness that is associated with your planet is blending together to create that which is the higher vibrational frequency. This breaks down the paradigm, or well, some of you may call it the matrix. The matrix is already gone, but it breaks down any residual energy of that. It breaks down thought processes that people may still have about what the world and what reality is. It helps to transition by sending out these particular impulses into the earth plane is how it breaks down so that you can create something new. My sense, as I've been looking at this, and this is part of what these ships do that go in and out, and the ships are from multiple different races, is that they may pass by sending out that impulse about breaking down, and then as the atlas goes by, it's sending the new impulse that is now going to regenerate. So the atlas can, through sending out impulses, be the type that break down or the type that build up. And sometimes it's kind of both at the same time. What else to say about this? This is something that is very, very exciting for humanity. This is something that everybody is going to be talking about for many, many years to come. And once the atlas has done everything that it needs to be, it will move out of your galaxy, but people will still talk about it for many, many years to come. Now, there are many of us beings that are a part of the atlas, and some of us reside on board, some of us reside on ships, and we're in and out, but we are all here as the emissaries. I mentioned this the last time, and I mention it again. We are all here and would love to work with humanity, and the more that we work with humanity, the more it anchors, and the more the transition goes very, very smoothly. Now, I do know another question that Shelly had for me prior to talking about this is, when are we going to get there? So here's the important thing to know. We're already there. It's about when is it going to be the biggest impact. And that is something that is going to come in your calendar year towards the end of October, but I think most likely into the beginning of November. Look at the astrology, look at what's happening, look at where the planets are, and that is what's going to anchor us into what's going to be able to make it the easiest transition for all of you. This is a very exciting time. I know we will be talking again in a few days, and I would love to set something up if we could, where multiple different people can have a discussion. So perhaps the next time Shelly will set this up when we can have a discussion. But thank you, my beloved friends and family, because we are all family. I'm here. I'm with you. I'm very excited about what Earth has accomplished, and I very much look forward to what is coming. Ansaluia. That energy is amazing. Amazing. I felt as if I was levitating off my chair for part of the time while he was talking. So that answered a lot of my questions, and I hope it answers yours also. We are truly in an amazing, amazing time. And thank you for being along for the ride with me. And I'll be back with you shortly. Bye.